Hello students, welcome back to today's class on basic geometrical ideas. Basic geometrical ideas, that means geometrical patterns. We see a lot of circles, lot of rings or lot of boxes. We can say squares, rectangles, so many figures, right? So let's try to have a small discussion on all these geometrical shapes and their properties. Right? My name is Avinash and I'm a graduate from IIT Kharagpur. Let's start today's session. So the very first thing what we're going to discuss is let's try to relate few structures with their geometrical shapes. Few structures with their geometrical shapes. You can see here. We have pyramids, right? We have a chessboard, we have door, we have a clock. So all these are having some basic geometrical shapes. Okay, so let's try to match all these things. And you can see this is in the form of a triangle, right? Three-shaped figure, three-sided figure. You can see the same shape is here. Okay, so we can say this shape, whatever we are saying, this shape is something like a triangle. Okay, so this figure is triangle. And this is a chess. Chess has all sides equal number of squares. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is a square. So where is square? So we have the last one. So that is this. And this is something like a rectangle. Okay, so where the length and breadth are different. And this is a circular, or we can say that shape is in a circle. Right? So these are the basic geometrical figures which we often see throughout our life. You see a pen, let's say, it may be something like a straight line, right? You take some clock, you take some like eraser. Eraser is in the shape of rectangle or square, whatever it is, right? So different figures, different shapes we always encounter with. So let's try to discuss one by one out of all this, right? So first one, let's try to discuss what is a point. You know what is a point, right? So point, just one simple point like this. One single point like this. So with points, okay, a dot is a point. This is a dot is a point. So group of dots, if we keep side by side, we get something called lines, okay? So group of dots, this one dot, the next dot, then the next dot, the next dot. So all these dots clubbed together, written side by side, we get a line. Points together form a line. Points together form a line. And from the points we came to lines, and from the lines, keeping 3 lines together, 4 lines together, 5 lines together in particular shapes, in particular closed shapes. Okay, so we say them as polygons. Lines together form polygons. For example, points, all these points will make a line. Okay, something like this is a line. And 3 such lines, if we arrange like this is one figure we say as polygon. A 3-sided, 1, 2, 3, 3-sided polygon. If we have 4, we say this is a 4-sided polygon. We say it is a 5-sided polygon. We have different names for them. Triangle, square, or quadrilateral. Okay, they may be equal in length or not. Triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon. 5 sides is pentagon. Right? So very basic out of all these, we'll start from the journey of a point. From the point, all the points clubbed together side by side will give you a line. Infinite points will form a line. And all such lines, if you can arrange them into some closed figures, we say them they are polygons. Right? These are some of the shapes. And let's try to discuss more about a point. A point is a dot with no length or breadth. You know, point is just a dot. Point is just a dot. Do we have a length for that? Or do we have a breadth? Do we have any length or breadth? For example, if you take this type of shape, we have this, whatever the length, this is called length, and this is called breadth. So do we have such type of length and breadth for a dot or for a point? No. A point is a dot with no length or breadth. We cannot define what is the length and breadth for a point. A point is always represented by a capital letter. By a capital letter. If we have a point, we represent that with A, capital B. C. We should not represent it small a. That is wrong. Capital A is correct. You can keep any variable. You can keep X, you can keep Y, you can keep Z, whatever it is, but it is always represented in capital letters. Right? And the stars in sky appear like points. Stars in the sky, you can see that, right? In the night when you see all the sun or the sky, you see small points. All those are stars. But as we see from thousands and thousands of kilometers away, right? So from lakhs and crores of kilometers away, those huge substances or the objects, we will see something like a small dot, which has no length and no breadth. We just can see with small dot. Okay. So stars in the sky appear like points. This is a point A, this is a point B, this is a point C. You can have so many points. Point A, point B, point C, point D, E, F, G, H. So many points are there in that, correct? Infinite points are there. Right, in the sky when you see, there are many stars. Although we can see very few, but there are infinite stars. There are thousands and thousands of stars which we even cannot see them. Right, so these are all some things about the point. Let's try to discuss more about a line. I told you, a group of points kept or placed side by side will give you line. Right? Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other gives line. Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other. The same thing which we are discussing about a line, correct? Starting from the point, keeping all the points together, all the points side by side, this one point, dot, all the dots, okay, will form a straight line. Line extends in both directions and has no end point. If I say this is a line, that is wrong. That is not a line. Line has no end point. That means we cannot restrict or we cannot stop at one point. It keeps on continuing in both the directions. That is the reason we keep two arrows. Two arrows states that it is moving towards infinity without any end point. It just moves on like that. There is no end point, okay? It extends in both the directions. It is stretching in both the directions. You can see here. This is a line. This is moving in this direction. This is moving in this direction. There is no end for that. It just moves on like that. For the next 100 kilometers, for the next 1,000 kilometers, for the next 1 crore kilometers, even after that, it will not stop. It just continues its journey ever. Right? And all the points on this line, will form a straight line, right? So how many points will form a straight line? It's not one or two, it is infinite points. There are infinite points on any given measurement of line. Right, so let's move forward for the next one, ray. So let's try to discuss what is a ray and what is the difference between a line and a ray. Just now told you, line has no end points on both the sides. It extends in both the directions. Line extends in both the directions, right? So this is a line. We started our discussion with a point or just a dot. And dots kept together side by side, infinitely many points will form a line. And when we keep those lines into particular shapes, we get polygons. And also we discussed what is a line. And now let's try to discuss what is a ray. Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other from a starting point. This is very, very important. From a starting point gives a ray. Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other form a straight point. From a starting point gives ray. Okay. Ray starts at one point. Okay, let's say this is the point where it's starting its journey and extends in the other direction. You can see this, right? It's starting at this point and it is extending towards infinity. There is no end in the other direction. It has end at only one direction. You can see here. Okay, so this is starting point. From this point it is moving till how much distance? For the next 100 kilometers? For the next 1000? For the next 1 lakh kilometers? No, it has never an end. It will not stop. It just continues its journey forever in that direction. Okay, not only in this direction. This is a starting point and this is a line. That is the way it is moving. It is extending. It is a ray. Okay, ray can be anywhere, just one starting point and there is no other ending point. Right. So this is a ray. So what is the difference between a line and a ray? Line is extended in both the directions, whereas a ray extends in only one direction. It has a starting point, whereas line has no starting point, no ending point. Right. So let's move forward for the next one. So what is a line segment? Just now we discussed what is a line, right? Line which extends in both the directions, and from there we discussed what is a ray, which has a starting point and extends in the other direction. Which has a starting point and extends in the other direction, right? So that is line segment. Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other. Infinitely many points arranged straight one beside the other of a certain length. That means the magnitude or the distance from the first point to the last point is fixed. The distance from the first to the last point is fixed. 10 centimeters or 100 centimeters or 1 kilometer, 10 kilometers, some or the other distance is already fixed. Such type of fixed length we say a line segment. Line segment has endpoints on both the sides. Okay, so that means it is starting at one point. For the next, let's say 100 centimeters, it is moving, and then after again 100 centimeters, so it stops its journey. So there is an end point on both the sides. Okay, line segment is of certain length. Yes, it has a certain length. Okay, so let's say here it is 10 centimeters. Somewhere it is 50 centimeters. Somewhere kilometers. Somewhere 1000 kilometers, 1 lakh kilometers, but still the distance between the 2 points is fixed. Such type of things we call it as a line segment. Okay, so let's move forward. We have a small example, the same thing which we are discussing, A, B, and then we have a line segment. Right, so what else we can learn? Line segment joining the end points P and Q is represented as a PQ. For example, we have a point P here and a point Q here. So the line segment, how to represent line segment PQ is a bar, PQ bar, a just line on top of that. Because if I say line PQ, you would need to extend in both the directions. But whenever I want to fix its length to some distance, we keep PQ bar. That is how we differentiate between line and line segment. Sometimes we may have a ray. If the question is asked about ray, it becomes a PQ ray. That ray symbol will be top of that. Okay, PQ line, if you have a line, so PQ and the line symbol will be on that. This is PQ bar. Okay, represent the line segments formed by joining the following points. So we have few points, we have 4 points. We need to join the lines and we need to represent that as a line segment. We have several combinations, right? So starting from A, if I go, this is a line segment AB. Okay, so I can write AB bar. I can go from A to C, so it is AC bar. A to D. Okay, so it is AD bar. And we still have from B to D, so that will give you BD bar. And from A to D, that is also one segment. Although there is a point in between them, B, it's okay. Okay, you can see AD, that is forming a straight line segment. Okay, and the same path. Okay, we can go with the BC. We can go with BC bar. We can go with CD bar. Correct? CD bar or DC bar. CD bar or DC bar, both are same. Why? It is just the point, just the point starting from C to the D. So that line segment is same has the starting point as D and ending at C. From C to D or D to C, you get the same line segment, right? So that is how we represent line segments. Next one. Name the following from the figure. So we have a beautiful figure here, a rectangle or a square, and A, B, C, D are some points. Okay, so these are the points A, this is the point B, this is the point C, this is the point D, and the diagonals. Okay, these lines are called diagonals. Whatever it is, two lines, and they are meeting at O. So the first question is, name any 5 points. All those are 5 points, right? We keep with capital letters. A, and then B, then O, then C, then D. So all these are points. Point A, B, C, D, O. Any 5 line segments, we can do that, right? Line segments, not lines. So from A to B, it's a line segment. It's a fixed point. So AB is one line segment, AB bar. BD is one line segment, right? DC is one line segment. CA is one line segment. The same way we can also go with O, because O is also a fixed point here. A is also a fixed point. There will be a fixed length. So you can go with OA bar. In the same way you can go with OB bar, OC bar, and OD bar. The same way you can also directly go with AD bar, and BC bar. So all these are different line segments in the given figure. Okay, so the first one we discussed about points. All the capitals A, B, C, D, O are the points. Line segments means it should be having end points on both the directions. It should have end points on both the directions, right? So let's move ahead. Any 3 rays is again a very important thing. Rays means at one end you should have the end point or the starting point, and the other end you should not. Okay, it should continue forever. So, okay, so OA ray, that is one ray. It's starting at O, but it's not ending at A, it just continues like that. The same way OB ray, same way OC ray, OD ray. Okay, so all these are different rays, right? Next, any 2 lines. Lines means in both the directions it should not have any end. So A and D is one line, and CB or BC is another line. Okay, you can see the arrows. You cannot go with BOD. That is not one single line. BO is one and OD is one. You cannot join these two and keep as a straight line, right? So that's all with this figure. Then we'll go for the next one. Number of lines. How many lines can be drawn passing through one point? How many lines can be drawn passing through one point? So he's thinking about that. So if you have one point, let's say, how many lines? I say one, like this. The other person will say, sir, can we draw one more line? The third person will come up with one more idea. Fourth person will come up with one more idea. So total, how many lines, how many such lines are possible? Okay, from this point, there are infinite lines passing through every single point. Infinite lines. How many? Infinite. Okay, so how many lines? Infinite lines. Infinite means you cannot tell the count. It's just continuing. The count is continuing, right? Infinite lines can be drawn passing through one point. So let's move forward. Okay, so the next one is, how many lines can be drawn passing through 2 distinct points? How many lines can be drawn passing through 2 distinct points? So between these 2 points, only one line segment is possible to draw. Only one line segment. Only one line segment can be drawn between 2 fixed points. Any 2 fixed points, you can always draw only one line. Okay, so you take a point here, you can take a point here. If you join these 2, you get only one line segment, right? So between any 2 points, we can just draw one line segment. So let's move forward for the next one. Is ray a part of line? Is ray a part of line? See, what is a ray? Ray means it has an end point and it is continuing in the other end. But what is a line? What's a line? Line has no end points on both the directions. So this is a line, And if you start your journey at this point A, and if you're continuing, let's say the AB. So AB is a ray. So I can say that ray is a part of a line. Ray is a part of a line. So I can say that yes, it is correct. Right. So let's move forward for the next one. A line segment has no definite length. Is that correct or wrong? A line segment, I told you already, line segment means it is having fixed points on both directions. The length is fixed. It cannot change. So yes, a line segment has no definite length. It is wrong. It is having a definite length. It is having a definite length. Okay. So the next one. We can draw many lines through a point. Is that correct? From one single point, can we draw many lines? Is that true? We can draw many lines through a point. Yes, just now we discussed. From one point, we can draw so many lines, right? So all these are lines moving from the same point. So yes, we can draw many lines. We can draw many lines through a point. Right. So what next we are having? A line has no end points. Correct. Line has no endpoints, and don't get confused between a line and a line segment. Okay. So answer for this is yes, the line has no endpoints. Okay. So what if I join points without a scale? let's take 2 points. Okay. So till now what we discussed that we are drawing these two using a scale, a straight line, straight path. But if I take the same 2 points, and now let me say I'm not joining with a straight line, I'm joining with a smooth curve like this. I'm joining with a smooth curve like this. Okay. So there are again so many possible patterns that are appearing other than a line segment. As a line segment, joining 2 points, you can join in any way. So these type of things are called curves. What do we say? Curves. These type of joinings or these type of shapes are called curves, right? So in mathematics, even a straight line are also called as curves. So it's a straight curve. Okay. So this is a U-shaped or something like that. You have even this one as a curves. So curves are so many things. A line and a curve will give you some other shape. A line and one more line and a curve will give you one more shape. So basically lines and curves, okay, even the line is also considered as curve. Curves together will give us different geometrical shapes, and all those things about curves that we are going to discuss in the coming class. Okay, so we have discussed what is a point, and group of points will form a line, and from line we also discussed what are polygons, which we further will going to discuss about that in the coming class. We also discussed what is a curve just now. Line is also considered as a curve. So more about curves that we are going to do in the next class, right? So thank you so much, students. Stay tuned to get the next lecture. Thank you.